thicker up top for sure. It was a little bit heavier, and of course he had that ankle issue that was slowing him down. But no, he looks lean and springy to open this one.
Use that word springy again. I like it. Got it in yesterday. Got it in again today. And he got a piece of Isaac Humphries.
This is what we wanted to see from Will Magnay. Blocking shots down one end, throwing down.
Tasmania.
May nanood na sana na isa eh. Umalis eh.
Jumps out of the cylinder.
Umalis kasi magulo eh.
With us at the other end.
Naayos ko pa eh.
A jet from well beyond the arc. How's the level of confidence that Tasmania have started this game with?
Make him pay. Make him pay, Josh Majet. Nobody picked him up at all. So he strode into NBA range, three-point territory, and he drilled it. 14 for jack jumpers. Timeout Adelaide.
They are shooting the lights out. 3 of 3 from outside. The Adelaide 36ers are asleep, Liam.
Meanwhile, the jack jumper's up and about.
Naglaro yata siya ngayon eh. Kasi yung second games wala eh.
There's the extra pass for Jack McVeigh, who's ready to toe the line and let it fly. And as we say, Majet, defensive breakdown from Adelaide, and there was no letting them off the hook. And what we didn't see there was the beautiful alley-oop to open the game. Set the table. Great play call from Scott Rock. So, all right, Will Magnay's going to step out here for his preseason debut and his first possession as a jack jumper. Let's run something where we get him going towards the hoop, and our past first point guard's going to put it right on the spot.
This goes back to what we were talking about in the
Talagang
last game
pang-chef
when it
yung
comes
hiwa
to
mo
jack jumpers. Especially at home at My State Bank Arena, where it's going to be an amazing atmosphere. They're going to catch teams on the hop because of the energy. They lead it by 10. CJ Bruton for a bit more efficiency out of the timeout. Humphries, nice pass for Johnson. A floater in the lane goes. That helps. Sunday Deck quickly into the game. Adelaide, Majet.
Dumami yung tao nila, yung nanonood oh.
McDaniel.
Malakas talagang hatak ni kay
Offense
Soto.
all the same. Tasmania.
Kay Soto yung laro sir?
Oo, yung game trend lang ngayon.
That bounces on the loose ball.
Hindi lang naman sa'yo.
Daniel, same spot, better result. Second time around. You're going to get
Hindi
on
lang
the
naman
hooks.
sa'yo sir.
Ha?
If you're a jack jumper and you run the lanes and you space out, because the jet just makes really smart decisions.
Tatlo.
Will Magnay humps that middle lane, sucks the defense towards the rim.
Lumama yan, libo na yan.
And Sam McDaniel's left
Dumami
wide
na
on
kasi.
the arc.
Dusty Hannah's first field goal attempt.
Just played a couple of NBA regular season games, but have both had big impacts on the NBL over the last couple of years.
Magnay at the top of the key. Three ball is good.
This is fantastic. He's a little gas breathing there, Will Magnay. A few minutes into this one, but this is exactly what we all wanted to see from
Sus,
Magnay.
pilay.
Offensive foul there.
Defensive
Great
foul.
positioning defensively as he draws the contact from Humphries. But just look at him. Look at the body shape. Yep. Here's Slider. Here's Nunn. And what a great first 5.5 minutes as a jack jumper that was from Will Magna.
Couldn't have asked for any more. Scott Ross would be delighted. So much of Tasmania's hopes this year are going to hinge on Will Magna in the middle. That was superb. I think Chris Levick comes in. His replacement, Cam Bairstow. See there, number 41, the late season signing.
Was actually on this court 2 years ago. We spoke about the name Joe White tip-in over Adelaide in Ulverston at the Blitz 2 years ago. It was on this court on that night, first leg of that doubleheader, that Will Magnay kind of splashed back onto the scene. He'd had a big off-season, playing with the World University Games team, and came in as the Bullets took on a Big B All-Stars team at the Blitz, and he completely tore it apart, and everybody's heads turned. And, of course, he didn't look back over the course of that rest of that season. Well, back on that court tonight, this time for the home team, has come out and had a big first few minutes.
Sorting out some issues with the clock. 7 points for Magnay, 6 for Josh Adams. 6 of 8 from outside the arc to start the game. That is deadly for the Jack Jumpers. Kyle McIntosh coming in as well. 16 points in his first game and 12 in game 2. That's not the start that he was after.
Picks up the offensive foul there, just wasn't quite set as he tried to free up for Jet. But yeah, no, he's been really good. He's been 12 of 20 from the field over their first 2 preseason hit-outs. McIntosh, and he's a matchup problem. You know, a little bit like Jay Sean Tate a couple of seasons ago for Sydney. He's too quick for the bigs and he's too strong for anyone a little smaller.
McIntosh trying to go to work on Bairstow. Late foul call. Clint Steindl subbed into the game. The Jack Jumpers during the week announced their leadership group. Clint Steindl get the opportunity to captain Jared Weeks, the vice captain of Tasmania in their inaugural season. Great honour for Clint Steindl.
It is. And a good opportunity for him, of course. Has learned under some really good leaders during his time with the Wildcats. Damien Martin, of course, Jesse Wagstaff, Greg Hires. Being able to see how those guys go about leading an organisation, and Jack Jumpers in so many ways trying to copy that ultra successful Perth Wildcats blueprint. Steindl's part of that process.
He was very good in the second game. 3 of 8 in game 1, but he came on for a couple of quick bursts.
Sayang eh.
Then went over Cairns, was knocking down threes. He had some confidence back in his game. Was pass from Mojave King, and Bairstow takes care of the rest.
Really nice pass from King. So he comes in, they give him the ball as the primary ball handler, and quickly finds Bairstow underneath for an easy bucket.
24-12. Kenyon, Chris Levick find a way to get Steindl open. He is shooting with confidence.
Beautiful play call. Scott Roth puts Clint Steindl in the game, will run something for him. He's a microwave and he comes up shooting.
Majet for the logo that time. A little heat check perhaps. There's NBA range and then
Ayos, kala ko lalabas na yung player na yun eh.
Where the bigger three-point line is located.
Muntik na lumabas sa ano eh.
Pointed it out to him.
you take a step closer,
Just
Josh.
come in a little closer.
It's still 3.
Para lang, binato lang.
He's running the point with great effect. He looks to be the perfect man for this team. As you say, Scott Roth promised that they'd get a point, they would facilitate, and that they have. This time a little closer. See, we told you.
Not that much closer. Still got some room to move, but
Ay, ay, ay.
he's just such a skillful player, Josh Majet. We talked about his playmaking, his assists. He is highly likely to lead the NPL in assists this season, given his talent and how Scott Rock wants him to run this team. But as you can see there, has the ability to keep the defense honest. You leave him open, give him a little bit of space, he'll knock it down, and he has this Jack Jumpers offense humming in this first quarter.
Maglalaro yata siya ngayon sa third games. Yun ang alam ko.
And comes back. A couple more minutes to close out the quarter. Jared Weeks also in. Josh Majet. Marshall, a promising young talent. Nice drive and dish for Johnson. And the offensive foul going against Adelaide.
And it was off the whistle, it was after the whistle. And he was probably going to get caught for his own foul because Besto had got him up off the floor. But Will Magnay got higher then than he did at any time in a perfect.
Ngayon siya naka-schedule 3 sa third games. Yung second games niya wala eh.
Seidel just inside the three-point line. It happened for himself that time. Very quickly up to 5 points. The Jack Jumpers captain. Besto, speaking of looking healthy, Magnay got a piece of that. His second block shot. About to talk about Cam Besto, Liam, and how in the blitz we've seen him in, he's been really hampered by injuries for a long time. He looks to be moving quite well. McIntosh falling away, tough too. Marshall getting up the floor. Make the layup happen. And Adelaide ball.
Hey, you're right, Besto looks good. He's had 9 offensive rebounds so far in the NBL blitz over those first
Team nila ito
couple
ngayon.
games. That's a
Mikay
good
Soto.
sign. His energy and activities there on the offensive glass. He himself looks kind of light in the lead, which is good for a guy that's had back and lower limb issues over the last few years. If they can get kind of 75% of the games out of Cam Besto this season,
Pinsib.
that's going to be a great pickup.
Josh Adams called for a charge. Scott Ross continuing to roll the substitutions out. Adamson comes out. Keith Mikulovsky,
Situation rep.
another next star. A big weekend for the next stars. The Russian, who's had limited minutes, 10 minutes in the first game, 5 in the second. It's a chance to finish off this first quarter. Weeks stolen away. Now they go down to Magnay. Weeks with time on the clock. Patient offense. This time down for the Jack Jumpers. Kyle McIntosh forces the 36ers into another foul.
It's patient, but it's a little stagnant there. The Jack Jumpers, when they throw it into Will Magnay down low, got to get a little movement. Someone's got to slash to the basket. Screens away from the ball. No movement with Magnay in the block. No movement with McIntosh in the block. But Import did enough to draw the foul. Jack Jumpers will take it out.
It's amazing how things go right. Nagpaiwan pa yun ng Siko eh, Bangga.
Whistle goes against Tasmania. It's Jared Weeks. The 36ers have got 12 on the board as we come up to quarter time. Unlock. All sorts of problems offensively. Some of it has to do with looking after the basketball. Bairstow for three. Magno swallows that up. Late in the quarter, Weeks putting his head down and driving. Nice move. Free throws coming for him.
Good take from Weeks. The timing all out of whack there for the Jack Jumpers as they execute in the half court, but they work their way through it. Weeks, quick change of speed when he gets on the attack. Watch out.
It's the first time reliably informed by the stats man. Looks like big stat man, I should say, not the stat man. First time any team in a blitz has led by 20. Wins goes 1 and 2. Last play belongs to the 36ers. Bairstow, low block. McIntosh just doing enough to force him into a change of plan, and that was a scrappy end to a scrappy quarter for the Adelaide 36ers. Tasmania lead 33-12 after one, and the home fans are loving what they're seeing.
Big quarter for Tassie in lots of different ways.
Tapos na ako.
Most importantly, the preseason debut of Will Magnay. As their opening offensive possession, Jen finds Magnay and he loves it as he gets all over the rim. Beautiful play call, beautiful execution, and just what a beautiful start it was to the game. Adams got going from long range, and they started moving the ball. McVeigh, and Jen, everybody chiming in from three-point territory. And meanwhile, down the other end, it was
Ay, subuhan ka pa, oh.
first quarter turnovers, 5 of 15 from the field.
Busog ba ako pero
McCarron playing
Las 12 na eh.
the first half of that quarter, and didn't get anything going. After that, as the offense really wasn't ticking over at all. But Will Magnay was the story of that first quarter. We got our first impressions of him in NBL 22, and they were terrific.
I think your first point,
Malakas talaga yung
first
technique eh, kasi
observation,
7 points lang siya, tapos
how much lighter he is.
sa second games niya,
And whether that's Will's decision or
pero
whether that's
pasok pa rin siya sa
strength and conditioning team of the Jack Jumpers who are trying to manage his body a little better, but it looks good, and it looks more like the Brisbane Will Magnay in terms of the way he's able to move.
I think the wrong decision was what was made over in the States to bulk him up, because he's an athlete. He's a bouncy rim protector and a guy that you need to be getting above the rim at the offensive end. So he got a little too top heavy, and the ankle injury didn't help at all as part of that process. It just completely what he needed to do. So I love the fact, I was saying throughout the offseason, I just want to see when Will Magnay steps back out there for the Jack Jumpers, I want to see him light, clean, bouncy.
63-56 winners. Winners Wildcats.
ayusin ko lang.
Winners goes 2 from 2, and opens his account as an Adelaide 36.
Happy about it. But just been a little bit more at the defensive end, fighting through picks, making things a little bit.
Get away from him. The Jet guarded by Humphries, not from there. Sunday deck for 3. It's good.
All right, they needed that. Kick out from Hatters, then doesn't hesitate, lets it fly. Scott Roth can feel it. Timeout, Tasmania.
Chris Levick had to be. It's against the clock.
They don't get the Malou won't take the ball in this one, so I think Paul gets the DMP. That'll be why, but he's been actually pretty good. I felt in the first couple of games, but he'll be rested today.
His first game in particular.
Wala man, di man
3
nakita
of
sa
6 on the field. A couple of things defensively too. Josh Adams, an extended rest after a hot start, knocked down a couple of threes, but he's out there once again. Fame with his back to the basket, trying to spin into the lane. Life was made hard for him by Mojave King. Small steps, but they're starting to make some inroads in this. Late clock shot for Mojave King. Catch and shoot three. There's Deck flying in, uncontested. Puts it back in.
Good execution from Adelaide. They fought their way through that, got a wide open look for King, and the energy from Deck getting an extra possession.
Things are a little cold offensively for the Jack Jumpers in this second quarter. Only 7 points. Now on the floor, Sunday Deck.
gusto nila sila yung ma-expose sa mga NBA analyst eh. Wala man silang crowd gaya ni kay Soto. Kahit kunti ang score, madami yung ano, siya yung center ng usapan.
The defensive end, be active, use those physical tools, and let the offense come.
Is that the biggest area? Again, another one
Wala
who's
masyadong fans, no?
Oo, walang fans na kahit sila yung palaruin dyan, hindi sila mapansin kasi sikay nga yung may crowd eh.
Entire package this season, make no mistake. Both ends of the floor, absolutely, but it starts defensively for him because he does have the tools to be a real impact defender, and he didn't show that at Cairns last season. Now,
Kaya minsan, nangyayari, pang-akit na lang si Soto. Pang-akit sa crowd ba? Oo.
That season, he fell asleep off the ball, he missed blockouts, some blow-bys. He needs to make sure he locks in defensively, uses
Hindi na ako
those
nakakain ng
tools,
laro eh.
and lets everything else flow from there.
Alaw na
Karen setting the tone and Bairstow runs the floor. Crowd at Almost silent in this second quarter. Just sensing that the game is changing. Adams steps up and knocks down a three when they needed it. He has 9 points.
Ano, sulo lang, binali pa eh.
Tapping off the ball, Magnay and Bairstow as they were running down the floor.
Like that from Magnay. Put pressure on Bairstow and how fast he was running that their way. So Bairstow leans in, establishes some contact. Magnay makes sure the official sees it, draws the whistle.
As puro sila aspiring sa NBA, no?
Scorer with 7 points.
Mga naglalaro dyan.
It's a fun matchup. Magnay and Humphries, the two guys that have led the league in shot
Kaya
blocking the last
kanya-kanya
couple
silang
of years.
pasikat, no?
Magnay first, then Humphries. We're only going to see it for this next 3 minutes. Oh!
Josh Magette for Will Magnay. Get used to seeing that, Jack Jumpers fans.
Beautiful execution, and Humphries right back at him.
And a little statement on that dunk from Big Ice. The big men have come to play this afternoon. Magnay wants another crack. Puts the ball on the floor and bounces it off the rim and in. No, he's probably going to be on management minutes this afternoon, Will Magnay. I'm kind of hoping he's not now.
Can we get the word to Scott Roth at halftime? Let's just let it ride.
Let him go.
Can we just let it
Alam
ride?
nila, inaabangan ng mga Pinoy si Soto.
What about the three?
Oh, he knows
Hindi
what
pa
he does.
pinasok. Pero ngayon laro niya kasi game 3. Sa game 2,
It's like, oh, he's
hindi
calling
siya
for the sub.
pinalaro
Will
kasi parang
Magnay, you got 2 minutes left, big
10
fella.
players
Come
lang
on,
yata.
Maybe that means we see some third quarter
Bawal.
action.
let's just run
Isang
it
laro.
out.
Ngayon kasama siya yung naglalaro.
King left open. Onto the bottom of the net.
There we go. That's nice. Timeout called, and hopefully that's Scott Roth saying, you know what, here's your sub, here's your rest. We'll call a timeout. Just get a water bottle, take some big deep breaths. We want to make the most of these last couple of minutes.
That'll fix it. Have a water bottle.
Well, that's sometimes what you do with your studs when they put their hand up. So, you know what, I'm just going to blow a timeout here and use it to get you a little rest. And when the plan is to shut Magnay down at half time, here's hoping that's how they go about it. Meanwhile, Adelaide responds here in this second term. Knocked down there from Mojave King. And won this third quarter by
Ayaw
5
pasok pa yung
thus
bida.
far. Kept
Bida
Tassie
kasi.
to just 14 so far in this second term. Tick under 2 minutes to play. That's been a good response.
Their leading scorer is Daniel Johnson with 5. Mojave King also has 5. How could it potentially work if Adelaide have Johnson, Humphreys, Soto, Bairstow all available at the same time? How does that work for CJ Brown?
Well, that's your 4-deep rotation. That'll work just fine. Johnson and Humphreys are starting unit. Soto and Bairstow obviously coming off the bench. And, it's not dissimilar. That's kind of what you want. It's not dissimilar to look at a team like South East Melbourne. You've got Joe Chi and Mitch Creek as your starters. You're going to have Devon Thomas, Dave Sano coming off the bench. There's minutes available there for everybody. And when you're out there playing a high intensity and
Sino ba nanonood dyan?
going, it's going to get some extended run.
Shout out
So you see
natin
it
yan.
working? The jet for 3. Yes.
Well, I mean, Humphreys and Johnson have proven. And I actually was really impressed with how well they played together last season. Soto and Bairstow are still, there's some question marks there. Bairstow, of course, with the injury history. Can he stay on the floor? If he can, it'll be a great punch off the bench. Soto, look, he's been impressive in his limited minutes in the pre-season. He did some nice things in that opening hit out, but it's a big step up to the NBL level. And Alway's certainly got an intriguing, exciting skill set. Showed some really good signs, but you just see a little bit more about how he's going to make the jump to playing against the experience and the talent that you're going to see night in, night out at the NBL level.
Sa next year yata siya magpapadraft, no?
Minute before half-time. Tasmania led it by 21 at quarter time. Adelaide has been able to bring it back a little. Adams all the way in. Now jumps out, but falls out for McDaniel. He's guarded by the development player, Nick Marshall. Fancy his chances here. Josh Adams pulls up for 3. Out of bounds.
He's wild with it there. Josh Adams got a little extra crazy with the finish as he attacked the rim. Wasn't able to finish at the cup and then counted the air out of the ball. The extra possession.
His hand, Sam McDaniel. Doing the little things that Scott Roth loves. And he wants this Tasmanian team to pride themselves on. Jet back on Humphreys to finish off the corner. Krislovic couldn't tip it in. And the basket won't count, but the 50 on the board at halftime is what counts the most for Tasmania. 17-point lead over the Adelaide 36ers. So many good vibes coming out of this team right now.
Big first half for the Jack Jumpers.
Kahit sila yung malaking score, di man sila
The
ma-expose sa tao.
Taswegians have come and packed out this Ulverstone Stadium, get their first look at the Jack Jumpers in the pre-season, and they have not disappointed here in this first half. And that man, number 22, Will Magnay, in his pre-season debut for the brand new club, was the story of the first half. 11 points, 4 boards, 2 steals and 2 blocks in his 13 minutes on the floor. That was the opening offensive possession of the game for the Jack Jumpers. And there's a lot to be excited about for the Tassie fans, seeing Will Magnay play that way. And for Adelaide, well, they've worked their way back into the game nicely, weathered the storm. The Jack Jumpers 8 of 11 3-point territory in that opening quarter. And they just cooled off a little bit in the second term as Adelaide chirped things up defensively, started to knock down a few shots of their own. And yes, it's still a 17-point margin, but they were much better in that second term as they won at 21-17.
Tasmania, their focal point is the man that Liam was talking about. Will Magnay has 11 points to go with 4 rebounds, 2 steals and 2 blocks. 9 points for Josh Magette, 9 points for Josh Adams as well, and Clint Steindl with 5 coming off the bench. The Adelaide 36ers, no player in double figures. No player has scored more than 5 either. Mahave King, Sunday Deck, and Daniel Johnson with 5 apiece. So bits of work on for the Adelaide 36ers in the second half.
For sure. But as we said, they showed some good signs there in that second quarter. And look, that should be all she wrote for Will Magnay this afternoon. Well, they told me 12 to 14 minutes. We'll shut him down at halftime. We've played 13. They just keep him rolling. He was so exciting, looked so good in that first quarter. But they've got their plan in place. They're trying to make sure he's ready for opening night. So that'll make things interesting here in the second half. They won't have that presence. He was the player of the game enough.
Break from us, and we'll be back shortly with more NBL Blitz. Don't go